Welcome to the Tribute Lounge, and on today's episode, Leanne Pelosi. So great to have you here on the show. I want to just talk really quick. I'm going to make Leanne super embarrassed and blush maybe on some of her accolades. And I just Googled these and it was amazing. And I knew most of them anyway. But one of the big ones that pops up is you're the winner of 5 Trans World Snowboard Magazine awards, including Rookie of the Year a little while ago.
Just a little while ago.
Rider of the Year, twice the Reader's Choice Awards, which is huge. I mean, that's like everyone that's a subscriber votes in on that. Like, that's a really big one. And the Influencer of the Year. You were also founder of Runaway Films, producer, of course, that we know of that awesome movie that you did in 2016, Full Moon.
Yeah.
And you produced that. You were in it. I want to talk about that. And then, obviously, too, like, super active member in the Riders Alliance with POW, with Protect Our Winters, which is hugely important. And we place high value, all of us, on being active and trying to make it so it still snows.
Yeah.
Can I ask you just to start, because I haven't had this conversation with you. Born and raised and started snowboarding in Calgary.
I was born in the UK. My parents immigrated.
Right. Wales.
Yeah, Wales.
Oh, damn it. Okay. Yeah.
We immigrated to Canada when I was 2. And then, settled into Calgary, went to school there, and then I moved out to Whistler after university.
Gotcha. And at that time, why'd you go to university?
Because my dad told me I was going to be an engineer. So I went to mechanical engineering. I finished in a Bachelor of Science in Biomechanics and half of a mechanical engineering degree.
Oh, that's cool. That's good stuff.
Right? Yeah. But I think what made me stop the mechanical engineering was Whistler.
Gotcha.
I moved there for 1 winter and I was like, I'm never going back. So I didn't.
Because in one of the interviews I read, you had mentioned, you're like, oh, I'm really glad I got uni out of the way.
Yeah.
Because that's something I can fall back on, because a snowboard career isn't going to last forever.
For sure.
And now we're a couple decades on.
I know, every year. I feel like it's probably the same for you every year, because we only ever get 1 or 2 years of confidence. And then, it's always like, ooh, is this gonna be the last year? Was this going to be the last year? And
awesome.
I feel like I constantly question that.
That's awesome.
For 20 years.
And then something also that I noted really quickly was your first snowboard sponsor was K2.
Yeah.
And has that been this the whole time, the whole way through?
Yeah. So I think this year's 20 years on K2. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, that part is pretty cool. Been through a lot of ups and downs with the industry and a lot of changes, and it's pretty cool to see K2 on the up and up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For sure. We have actually a sample. It was out in the field today, so it is a little some melted snow on there, Kootenai stuff. But this is the board you ride.
Yeah.
I understand from my understanding.
I have a quiver.
You do?
Yes.
All right.
I ride a bunch of different boards for a bunch of different things, but this was my board of choice for Baldface this week.
Gotcha.
And actually, Jay Stone, he hand shaped, right? Did you hand shape?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So good when you have the actual board builder in the studio with you.
Yeah. Shout out to Jay Stone, our engineer at K2. He brought up a bunch of boards, all new shapes, specifically for just POW shredding. And so we rode those, and then we rode boards that were inline, and this is the board that I loved. That is inline right now, and it's called the Excavator. Yeah.
I'm super into the Excavator. Yeah. We don't carry K2 at our shop, but that would probably be the one I would pick for myself.
Yeah, it's just super easy to ride. Don't ask me the tech questions. That's that's Jay Stone. We'll bring him up here and we'll talk about that stuff.
That's all good.
But I love the tapered part and the long big nose, and yeah, it just floats. Literally, you could pop off anything and you don't fall.
And now when you're home in Whistler doing a resort day,
Yes.
what style of board are you riding then?
I go a little narrower. So I'm riding the Excavator 150 in POW, and then I'll ride the Passport, the K2 Passport, and that has a narrower width. And I don't know, I ride maybe 150 and 154, depending.
Gotcha.
If it's a POW day on Whistler, maybe I'll ride at 154.
What's
maybe
the
150.
What's the shortest board you ride? Do you have
I
like a
try to
48?
keep it at around 150,
Gotcha.
and I have a hard time. I'm like, oh, if I go below 150, it's too short. But actually, a lot of the sizes that K2 makes, they'll go to like 53, and then it'll be like 49. So if I want to go short, I have to go in the 40s.
Gotcha.
I don't know what it is, but yeah.
You
so
got a magic line at 150.
I always feel like I
where
need to
you're
be like 50, 54, but the 50s, yeah, I'm going to try the 46 when I get back on the Excavator.
Gotcha. And then what, so in the films and in the movies and everything we watch you in, it's like primo conditions, radical stuff. I see you like to drop a lot. A lot of droppy stuff, a lot of step downy sort of things and
just
such.
natural drops.
Just natural drops.
Yeah.
And then when you're resort riding, what are you looking for? You go up on a day and you want to
Poppers.
Shred.
Poppers,
You're a
cliffs.
side hitter?
No. I am a peak to creek rider. I named my kid Kyber after Kybers.
Oh, that zone.
Yeah,
Cool.
so I just like the whoop-de-whoops, like all the little hidden gems and the bumps and the rocks. And
super
I love
natural
tranny
terrain.
finders. I love, cliffs. I love riding lines.
So you're a real off-pister.
I'm
You
I
don't ride
guess.
groomers much. You're not, unless you're trying to get somewhere.
I don't love the groomers unless it's early morning and it's perfect.
Gotcha.
Like if Whistler, my thing is I'll be there at 7 in the morning, see all the locals at Creekside. We ride peak to creek, 3 good runs. That's 3 hours.
Yeah.
Day is done after that. After it's Chendery, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are
I think when you
really
get-
hard laps.
Yeah, and when
Peak
you
to
get
Creek's
older,
really
you're
hard.
ugh, Chender, ugh, moguls. I don't know.
First, 100%.
no.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100. I was doing that when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as it wasn't primo, we were we're out.
Yeah.
Cool. I'd like to talk a bit about Runaway Films and what gave you the gumption to I'm gonna fire up a all-women's snowboard movie and a production company.
Yeah, so Runway Films happened really organically. I just think because back then, I think it was 2015, all of us girls were kind of filming in different places, and it was really hard to find our way into these films, like Standard Films and Absinthe, and there was always the token female. And
Yeah.
so we were all kind of the token female in these male-dominated films, and we were all really good friends. And this one time we were at dinner, and we were just kind of talking about how we'd love to work together. And so I think it was Annie and Robin and myself and Marie and Hannah, and we were just we should work together. And then that kind of was the start of Runway Films. So
more concentration versus being dispersed out there in the
Yeah,
snowboard universe.
I just think the power in numbers. We wanted to I wanted to showcase backcountry women's snowboarding and free riding, and it was kind of the start of the movement. I mean, we had Annie Boulanger and all the legends before too. Props to all those women that gave us inspiration. But at that point in time, there was a solid 5 or 6 of us in Whistler all together filming for different projects. So it kind of just made sense to posse up together.
And it was that was the first all-female backcountry snowboard movie. As far as I could tell, that was
There probably have been more back in the day, I don't know.
my ex, she used to have Tiff Jones and Sky, and they had X Productions.
Yeah.
And they did Empress. But that
cool.
was a jumble of different women's sports kind of pieced together. They basically grabbed B-roll all over the place from the floor.
See, that was the non-digital era. It's hard to find those relics. It'd be so sick to find all those old snowboard movies.
Yeah. But
So,
I think I would if I were you, I would claim it. Be like, yeah, we were the first one.
Yeah,
We're gonna give it to you.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it was an attempt at being
At
like
the level
something.
at the level you did it at, which was like super high end, like it was.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
thank
great.
you. Yeah, it was. It was a struggle because the first year started filming for Full Moon, there was no snow in Whistler, like not even a speck. Like we couldn't even, and we used a snowmobile to access all the backcountry, and we didn't do that. So there was one point in the winter where we went on snow forecast and we were like, okay, where is all the snow in the world? And it was Italy. And we were like, let's go to Italy. And so we all went to Italy, but then so did the rest of the whole pro snowboard world and ski world. Like we were like, we're in Italy, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden we'd see like all these other crews also doing the same thing. Because we were so desperate to get footage that we were like, let's just do this. Let's go to Italy. And we had a great time. We got a lot of good footage there.
Awesome.
But we started our film in Italy and not Whistler, which was...
Wow. And then how did you balance, because you weren't just, a star in your own production company. I mean, you were like the producer, like you even, I think, behind the lens sometimes. Like, how did you balance that whole gig?
I found it very difficult to balance my personal snowboarding with producing. It was so much work, just wrangling the girls together, making sure we had all the deliverables to the sponsors. But I just felt like I just hired a lot of people that were way more talented than me, and they did the work.
Delegate.
I just brought them in, and then like poof, all of a sudden we have a movie.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna segue with how do you balance that? You're a new mom.
Yeah.
So how does
That has
you're
been
like
life-changing.
Amazing, and you're still like you're here. You were just up at Baldface, like you're going, like you got the sponsors still, like. When you were pregnant and you knew you were gonna create this little being and be a mom, like where was your head at versus like, okay, am I gonna do this? Am I gonna be able to balance this? Like,
Oh man, I was so stressed out because I didn't want to lose like the best job ever. I think I had a lot of anxiety when I was pregnant about how things were going to turn out with my career. And then obviously when Kyber came, it was like so much joy, more joy than I could ever imagine. You're a parent, like it's so cool and magical to bring another human into the world. It was a really special time. And so for the most part, my sponsors in the industry were like super cool and very supportive and kind of backed off and gave me the time and space just to focus on mom. Cool. Yeah. And then
smart for them. Good move, sponsors.
It was good. I had some bad experiences with some other sponsors that are out of industry that were just like, yeah, no, we're not continuing. And that was a little bit of a hit, but it was also kind of the way I looked at it was that this is such a precious time. Like I want all the time and I don't want to be working and doing deliverables and things like that. So I just kind of was like, fine, I'll take the loss of sponsorship and I'll rebuild my career later if I want to. And so, yeah, I didn't know if I was going to get the motivation back for snowboarding, like that hardcore motivation, because the first year after having Kyber, it was about 6 months postpartum, and I went and I did my CSGA level 1 course, and that was really difficult. And then I put myself into the natural selection, and that was really
I remember that. I was going to ask. I was like, you were like, yeah.
I just thought, I was like, oh yeah, I could just like be back. But I couldn't because I had a C-section and it was such a gnarly recovery that like, I just wasn't ready physically. So the first year after having Kyber for season, it was really awful mentally because I just was not anywhere close to what I was previously. But now that I'm a year and a half postpartum and I just had my first snowboard trip of the year, I feel great and I have like no pain. I feel so strong. So hyped.
Nice.
Yeah. And Kyber is with my mom, and like this is the first big trip away from
So
him.
I was just going to ask that. So yeah, so this
Yeah.
is, you're just starting to figure out balance. Like, okay, like where
I've
does
been-
Kyber go? And yeah.
I love him so much. I missed him so much. Like I was getting updates all day, every day
Cool.
from my mom, and he's doing well. But yeah, I'm still breastfeeding him in the night, so it was kind of hard. I was pumping milk at night at
The
Baldface.
stockpile, eh? Like, yeah.
Yeah, that part's hard. I'm like really ready to like move on from that part.
And then for the rest of this season, like, is there a general plan or are you just like winging it?
I have a general plan of filming. I mean, for the most part, I'll probably like I would like to stay home in Whistler. I hope the winter is amazing. I'd love to spend some time here in the interior. And I'd like to potentially get a soft start to Full Moon too.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking your time
Yeah.
to come and jump in the basement
Thank
here
you
with
so
us
much
in
for
the show.
having me. This is awesome.
And again, ladies and gentlemen and folks at home, Leanne Pelosi, hope you enjoyed your time
Thanks
with
for
us.
watching.
And please, so we can keep this rolling, like us, subscribe to our channel, and until then, we will see you next time on the Tribute Lounge.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.